Greetings everyone, this is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. We're talking about the week of October 23rd, 2023 this time around, working our way through fall here. So we've been looking, for a long time. I told you last week we would stop this sometime soon, but we're not going to stop it yet. Looking at Venus in prograde motion, tracking its way through Leo. And so in the early morning, it's up in the morning now. I see it at 4 o'clock and 4:30 in the morning, and it's up well in the sky by that time, so you could see it earlier. But when I see it now, it's in Leo. It's tracking easterly through Leo. It's going to start the week very near this 5th magnitude star, 59 Leonis. And so this 5th magnitude star, that's right at naked eye limit. So it's conceivable, you got a dark sky, you would be able to see this. But Venus is so much brighter than this star, the glow of Venus is actually going to wash this star out and make it hard to see. And Venus is going to be right on top of it. I mean right on top of this star in the morning of the 24th. So Tuesday morning the 24th, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Late at 6 o'clock in the morning now. You could get out there, get your binoculars out, and see if you can see Venus moving relative to this star that's right next to it. Very faint star compared to Venus. But it's an interesting star. We're watching Venus make interesting interactions with lots of stars, and this is one of them. By the 29th, in the morning in the a.m., you can see 4th magnitude, Sigma Leonis, which is a brighter star. It's 2.5 times brighter than 59 Leonis. And so you might have an easier time seeing Sigma. By this time, the moon is pretty full. It makes it a little bit tougher to see what's going on. But Venus is only going to be about 1.5 degrees away from Sigma Leonis. And now Sigma sits the triangle tail of Leo. Leo's tail, Dana Bola, is there. And so we have this triangle right here. And there's a string of stars that are down below this triangle, down in this direction. And Sigma is one of these stars. So you'll be seeing Sigma and Venus sitting below the triangle that marks the tail of Leo. And at some point in the morning of the 29th or so, Venus gets within about 1.5 degrees, which is pretty close. Remember, your finger held out at arm's length is 1 degree. And so this is a pretty nice pairing. It's nothing like this. It's nothing like this. And so this looks like it's a wide chasm compared to what you'll see with 59 Leonis to start the week. So watch for this motion of Venus continuing to track against Leo. Now, other things going on. The moon, this is one of our moon washout weeks where the moon's very bright. It makes it challenging to see other things. So relatively early in the week, the evening of the 23rd into the morning of the 24th, so Monday to start the week, the moon is already 3/4 full, between 2/3 and 3/4 full. And so that's a big bright moon. It makes it hard to see deep sky objects. It really wants to wash these things out, and so you don't see a lot of stuff. But it will that morning pass below Saturn. And it'll be about 5 degrees below Saturn. And so it'll be a nice, interesting pairing, a beautiful sight to see there with this 3/4 full moon, 2/3 full moon, sitting just below Saturn. And that helps you find Saturn. If you haven't been watching Saturn, you haven't seen Saturn, then you'll for sure know where Saturn is. I think the closest approach for me is going to be about midnight as we transition from the 23rd to the 24th. But it'll be up as it gets dark. So all evening you'll be able to see this, and well into the morning you'll be able to see this. And it actually is a fun exercise to just get a sense of how much the moon moves each night. Go out at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock as it's getting dark, and see where the moon is relative to Saturn, and go out 4 or 5 hours later and see how much it's moved, and go out a couple hours later and see how much it's moved still. You'll see the moon tracking across there. Okay, a little bit later in the week, 28th into the 29th, the evening of the 28th into the morning of the 29th, the moon's basically reached full. So we've got a big, bright moon washing everything out, but it's only going to be about 2 2/3 degrees above Jupiter. It was below Saturn. It's above Jupiter, and it's about 2 2/3 degrees. So this is about half a fist width at arm's length, and this is half that distance again, about that much closer to Jupiter as it slides by. But it gives us a chance to think for a moment. It's a great opportunity. Beautiful, beautiful stuff to see. See the full moon right next to Jupiter. See the 3/4 full moon very near Saturn. We've seen beautiful stuff with the stars and Venus. But this gives us a chance to think about the solar system. And we talk about the plane of the solar system, right? We've got the sun here. And we think about this disk of the solar system, this flat plane with the planets orbiting around this direction, right? But if this is the Earth's orbit, like this, we define that as the ecliptic, that path around the sun. The sun seems to move. We see the sun projected against whatever stars are back here. We get around here, we see the sun projected against whatever stars are over here, and so on as we orbit around there. But that defines a plane. That defines an infinitely flat disk, our orbit around the sun like that. Now, we think of the solar system as a flat disk, but it's not quite flat. And the moon has an orbital inclination. The moon's orbit around the Earth is tilted about 5.5 degrees, 5.2 degrees. So 5.2 degrees right there is that orbital inclination tilt. So the moon can be above and below that line by as much as 5 degrees. Now sometimes it's crossing that line and it's neither above nor below that line. And the other planets are tilted that way too. They have their orbital tilts like this as well, and they have those inclination angles that we see, and I've exaggerated this a lot. They're not that big. Jupiter's inclination is only a degree, 1 1/3 degrees roughly, 1 1/4 degrees, and Saturn's is about 2.5 degrees. So Saturn's tipped up 2.5 degrees relative to the orbit of the Earth around the sun. Jupiter's tipped up 1.3 degrees. The moon's tipped up 5.2 degrees. So you have all of this stuff moving around. The moon can be up to 5 degrees above or up to 5 degrees below that plane. Jupiter can be 1 degree above or below, 1 1/4 degrees. Saturn can be 2.5 degrees up or below. So these things are all in kind of position, and you see that this week. That's just something fun to think about what you can see as you see the moon above Jupiter when it goes by here by 2 2/3 degrees. Certainly that's in the range of what we're able to do, right, given those inclinations. And then you see it's below Saturn, and it's about 5 degrees below Saturn. So it starts to give you a sense of instead of seeing these things perfectly in a line going by every time, you don't see the moon blot out Jupiter and Saturn as it goes by because it's of this inclination, because of this tilt. And so we can see the moon move below Jupiter, below Saturn this week, and above Jupiter as it goes by. So just watch for that. Enjoy how beautiful it is. Think a little bit about orbits and orbital inclinations, how the tilt of one orbital plane in one orbit is relative to the other orbit. And it should be a good week. A lot of fun stuff to see, even though it's a full moon week. We've got good planets in the sky right now doing interesting things. So as always, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you have a good week, and I hope you have some clear skies and get out and get to see some things.